I've worked as a security guard for most of my life now. I've worked in all kinds of places. I've worked at hospitals, nightclubs, apartment blocks, and unfortunately, even schools. When I got that job, I felt sick to my stomach that stuff like that was even necessary in my country, but that's a whole other topic that I don't really want to get into now. I'm not the kind of person to stay in one place or one job for too long. I like to float around, see the world if I can, and take on any new opportunities to keep myself sane. Security guard work is boring, so if you don't shake it up enough, you can easily drive yourself insane staring at the same four walls or the same sights every single night. Because other than that, you're relying on trouble starting for your entertainment, and no security guard worth his salt is ever wishing for trouble to come around. This was only around a couple of months ago now. I only lasted in this job for about a week. That's a new record and an insanely small amount of time, even for me. The reason for why I quit is a little bit hard to explain and even more unbelievable, so please just stick with me and do not judge until you've heard everything. It was a job at this office building. Now, the situation at this place was a little bit unorthodox, at least from my experience. You had your regular ass workday, which I didn't really work those shifts. Employees all have their own passes, and there is one certain doorway they can scan themselves in without any interference. This building, for some reason, is essentially open for 24 hours, and employees can come and go late at night or early in the morning and get extra stuff done or just whatever. What kind of office work they were doing in there? Now, that's another question entirely that I don't really know the answer to. As a security guard, I do my best not to pry, at least not so directly, and to come across as, reliable, the no questions asked kind of guy. Obviously, I pick things up here and there and I overhear things, but I never try to be so directly nosy. I know that different floors had different equipment. One floor had full-on labs, another had office cubicles, and one was even decked out with a 3D printer and things along those lines. Crazy stuff. All that to say, this was not a simple night shift. I could not just sit outside in a booth and put my feet up and watch for troublemakers. I had to routinely patrol each floor and make notes. The building had cameras to keep an eye on things that I could access from a security room inside. Every hour or so, I had to take a walk around the building and around each and every floor. Each floor had a sensor at the end, which I had to scan with a keycard to let the system know I had cleared that floor for that hour. If I didn't scan with the keycard, then I got an earful. Bit of an annoying system, but at least it was planned out, and I had definitely seen worse management. The first 2 days were pretty simple. I had a floor plan printed out that I carried with me to make navigation a little bit easier. I'm a quick learner, but even 2 days was not enough for me. I had gotten a couple of floors down, but the ones higher up were a little more complicated. Day 3 was probably when I started to notice that something was off, when I started to feel creeped out. I had left my flashlight in the security room as I had rushed out of there in a hurry. The lights are those energy saver bullshit ones that go off when no motion has been detected for a while, but then turn back on when you walk by them. The system let me know that motion had been detected in one of the office corridors, and as far as I knew, no one had scanned into the system that night. The place should have been fully empty. I saw the light flash on when watching the camera, and I saw something flit past the hallway. Very odd. I thought just maybe some interference with the camera, but I had to check it out, as per protocol. I started jogging to where I think I need to go, and absolutely none of these lights are turning on. I am feeling way too lazy to jog back for my flashlight, and think that any second now they will flick back on. I can still mostly see anyway, I just have to focus a little bit harder. I get to where the hallway is, or where it's supposed to be anyway. There isn't an opening, it's just 2 turns. Okay. Maybe I did not have the floor plan memorized as well as I thought I had. I pull it out. I can't see it. Okay, that's fine. The security office is just one straight line, one left turn, and another straight line. Let me just run back really quickly. I run back down the hallway as quickly as I can. The lights are still not coming on, and where the hell is the left turn? There is just a wall there now. I'm putting my eyes pretty much on the floor plan, and I still cannot see shit. There is no way I had confused the way I just came in. It's literally a 1-minute jog. What is going on? I am now just taking whichever corridor I can that goes in the general direction of where the security room is. The lights have started to flicker a little. I am getting like 1 to 2 seconds of light at a time. It's really messing with my eyes. The floor plan is definitely different to what I'm seeing. I think I spent like 10 minutes doing this before I finally made it back to the security room with my eyes burning and a horrible headache. I think it was the flashing lights that really did it. I walk in there and just sit down. My damn flashlight is not where I left it. I searched top to bottom and I could not find it. Even though it's against policy, I got my phone from my little locker and used that as my flashlight for the rest of that night. Thankfully, nothing else strange happened that night. I tried to play it off as the power being a little bit funky and the low light causing me to just be forgetful, I guess. I was still pretty new, so I chalked the layout changing to me just being overconfident. I was back in the next day, and that day was normal. Actually had a rush of people on a time crunch on a really important project. This meant that there were people on pretty much every floor for a lot of the night. I don't know if this had anything to do with the night being quiet. I agreed to be back in the next night as well, since that one was so easy, and my pockets were hurting a little, what with the tariffs and everything going on. The landlord had just put up my rent, and I did not really fancy living off of noodles like a student for the next week. So I think it's my 5th day here. I usually like to do long streaks of shifts before I have any time off. I'm not someone who is attached to having every weekend off. A little extra cash is fine by me. The night has started off pretty normal. I am doing my hourly patrols, checking the outside perimeter. It's a lot of walking around compared to any other security jobs I've done, but I enjoy the cardio and having a task to do, even if it is a little bit repetitive. It really helps to keep the boredom away. I think I had been there on shift for about 4 hours at this point, and I was just checking out the ground floor. The place has an elevator, but I don't think anyone really uses it. I open it up. Everything seems all good. I press the button. It takes absolutely forever to open back up. I was scared for a second that I was going to get stuck in there and have to call my boss. I step out of the elevator and walk down another corridor. I walk into the stairwell to check the next floor up. Why is there a set of stairs leading downwards now? I swear they were never there before. There is no basement on the floor plan. I think maybe it's for supplies and storage, and this floor plan is maybe out of date. But I have walked up and down this stairwell the last 5 days, and not once have I noticed this extra set of stairs. That's not the kind of thing you just erase from your memory. I say screw it. If it's there, then it's my job to check it, right? So I walk down it. The stairs seem to go on for a lot longer than any other floors, at least twice as long. The air feels almost thick down here, like there is something hanging in the air. Like when you cook a dinner that has a lot of spices, or if you go to a country where it's really humid, it almost slaps me in the face. There is a smell too, but I can't really tell what it is at first. Maybe gasoline, but it is nowhere near as strong. I am finally coming down to the bottom of the stairwell. I step out onto the floor and off of the last step. Boom. I just get this big flash of pure white in my vision. I can feel my skin getting so much hotter. I can feel sweat pouring off of me, but I cannot see anything. My body is so itchy from the humidity. I go to itch on my neck, and I can feel the skin peel and flake off as I do, like when you get sunburn and your top layer of skin just peels. I keep itching. I cannot stop myself, and I feel more and more of my skin start to come off. I have to grab my hand with my other one just to stop myself. I am trying my best to walk or back up and go back up the stairs, but I cannot feel myself moving anywhere. I feel my body become much lighter. It almost feels like I'm floating in the air. I have never felt so strange in my life. It feels like my body has risen up to the ceiling and is just bobbing up and down. I feel like I'm a helium balloon. I have no feeling in my legs or arms anymore, and I am just floating. I am completely weightless. I actually feel like I am not inside my own body anymore. And then I feel my body start to expand. I feel myself staying in the same place in the air, but widening and taking up much more room. I feel my chest and my stomach start to ache as I expand more and more, and just as it feels like I'm about to rip in half, the pure white in my vision fades away in a split second. I am in the ground floor stairwell, staring at a concrete wall. There is no staircase leading down. I am sweating buckets, and I can feel myself shaking. The rest of that shift was absolutely horrible. I felt so hot and sweaty the entire time, and my legs felt like jelly trying to do my hourly patrols. I actually called in sick the next day because I felt like I had come down with the flu or something. My boss was pretty understanding, but badgered me to come in again the next day, which would be my 7th day having the job. I tried to be like, I don't know if I will be well enough, but I eventually gave in. Money is money, and I had decided that the flu or whatever sickness I had made me just see things, imagine things, hallucinate things. That, along with the isolation. I mean, a lot of the corridors and rooms blended in together. So, I am back in on day 7. This is the last day I ever worked there. From minute 1, shit was weird. The second I stepped into that building, the temperature felt way hotter than usual. I had this tingling feeling running up my spine. I do my first hourly patrol with a floor plan glued to my face. I am on floor 3 with the labs. There is a new corridor where one should not be. It's right at the end of the one I am on, like someone just copied and pasted it and doubled the length. It should not even be possible. The building is not wide enough for this corridor to be physically possible. And where this corridor starts, I can see something shimmering. Like, there is a shimmering of the air and just the space around where the threshold is. Like when water ripples and moves. I have a new flashlight. I have my phone to call for help. I say screw it, I am going to take a look. The second I step through the part that is shimmering, the look of the corridor and everything changes completely. Whereas before it looked like a copy and paste, everything now looks old and musty and ruined. The carpet has these brown stains running down the length of it. The lights are this putrid yellow that are always on and much dimmer. There are trash cans tipped over and old yellow bits of paper all over the floor. It smells exactly like you would expect from the stains on the carpet. Like human shit. I am just very cautiously inching down this corridor with this horrible feeling of dread in my body, and I see that flit at the end of the corridor again. That same black, shadowy flit I saw on the camera the first day that I saw weird stuff. It goes past and then back, and then stops dead center in front of my vision at the end of the corridor. It's pure, shadowy black, but I can make out this outline. The outline of a person. Every single body part, every single feature is pure black. It just stands there and seems to be staring at me. This goes on for around a minute, before the thing ever so slowly starts to raise its arm. I start to panic at this point, worrying about what it's going to do. But once the arm is fully outstretched, the thing just unfurls a finger and points behind me. I instantly get chills. The last thing that I want to do at this second is look behind me. Then this thing puts down its hand and walks off to the left. I started running to try and chase this thing down and catch it. I can't let intruders just skulk about. I know I'm an idiot and should have realized what was up at this point, but the human mind is stubborn. We are built to look for the most logical and rational explanation, even if something crazy is happening. It takes longer than I expect for me to get to the end of the hall, but when I do, I am met with only a stone wall. There is no turn anymore. There is no left turn for me to follow this thing. I turn back around and my stomach drops. The hallway now looks to be less than half the size it was before. I sprint back to the top of the hallway where I came in from, and it's now another solid concrete wall. There is no way out at the top or at the bottom. I have my hands pressed against this wall as I am catching my breath, and I notice something. I notice that my hands are slipping and are being pushed, ever so slightly. This wall is closing in. I can feel that this wall is moving. This sends me into a frenzy. I start trying to open the doors to all of these rooms. I open the first one. There is not an entrance. It's just another solid concrete wall behind the door. I turn to the door on the opposite side and do the same again. I get the exact same result. Every single one of these doors leads to nothing. By the time I turn around again, the wall is much closer now. I am now basically in a tiny little box. I just collapse in a heap at the solid wall where the shadow figure disappeared. I think I spent around 30 minutes just sat there with my head cradled in my legs, sweating and sobbing and panting for breath. That's about how long it took until the wall was right up against my face. I could immediately feel the pressure. I felt the vice grip that my head was in. I felt the pressure build up more and more. My head hurt. I could have sworn I saw blood pouring out of my ears. I was basically giving myself a hug at this point. That is how cramped my arms and my body was. I look up to the ceiling, which is about a foot or two above my head. I feel like my head is about to burst. I feel the pressure in my eyes. My nose is closed up and I cannot breathe. And then I see the ceiling start to shimmer, just as I had seen the entrance to this corridor shimmer before. I see it ripple and warp before I start to see the solid black color forming. I see a hand penetrate the ceiling. I see this all-black figure pull itself through the ceiling and is phased through. It looks at me for a second and reaches a hand down to me. I did not even take a second to think. I felt one of my bones crack as I tried my best to untangle my arm and shoot it up. I made contact and gripped on for dear life. The second that I did, everything just went white again. I felt that weightlessness again, like when I went down the stairs to the basement. And that's all I felt for I don't even know how long, just pure weightlessness and that white in my vision. When I could finally see again, I was lying on the floor at the entrance to that copy and pasted old corridor. Only now it was a solid concrete wall and there was no corridor. I had missed calls on my phone. It had been about an hour since I entered it. My boss was pissed that I had not scanned my card and completed my hourly patrol. I told him I was sorry and was still feeling under the weather, and he just started ripping into me. Started telling me I did not know just how good I had it. I kinda snapped and was like, yeah, screw this, I am way too sick for this shit. I quit right there on the spot. I hate to burn a bridge in this industry since so many people know each other, but I had to do it just for my own sanity. To this day, I have no idea if there was something seriously wrong with that building, or my brain is just all types of messed up. Hey, hope you've enjoyed the story so far. If you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment because it lets YouTube know you like the content and helps more people to see these videos. My next big goal for the channel is 100,000 subscribers, and as a celebration, I will be doing a Q&A video once we hit that goal. Thank you, and back to the stories. I am a security guard. I was 23 years old when this happened. I was fresh out of college working a dead-end job as a security guard in an office building in Bloomington, Minnesota. For those interested, it is the Southgate building at 5001 American Boulevard W. I worked the night shift more often than not, which ran from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Most nights I would come in, and the restaurant attached to the building would be wrapping up their night, and maybe a few office people throughout the building working super late for whatever reason. My only real task was to do 3 rounds per night and lock the building down. They kept track of you using something called a deggy wand to make sure that you actually did the rounds by touching it to little metal receivers throughout the building. You could do 3 in a row for all they cared, but I usually spaced mine out a bit. First at 10 p.m. right away, the second at midnight, and the third around 2 to 3 a.m. First round, 10 p.m. I go the usual route I always take. I hit the basement and the parking garage. I take the elevator to the top floor and then walk the floors. I walk 1 floor, take the stairs to the next level, and keep moving like that back and forth all the way down. I check every door to every office to see if it is locked. There is one person working late, an old lady psychologist that was wrapping up when I popped my head in. I saw her car in the parking garage earlier, so I knew that she was still there. Other than that, every single door was locked. Along the way, I locked every entrance except the garage door since the old lady was still there. I also locked every bathroom and utility closet, since the cleaners had all finished up by now. I go down to the restaurant and eat some leftover stuff that they were gonna toss and chill at the guard station. My second round. It is midnight. The restaurant workers are all gone, so I lock the only door linking the restaurant to the building. I do the exact same thing as before. The old lady's car is gone now, so I know she left. I lock the garage doors. When I get to her office, it is locked already. Good job, old lady. Every door along my entire route was locked. They have now been checked twice. I go back to the guard station and chill. Nobody is in this building. All the doors and access points are locked. I watch some YouTube on my phone and take a snooze. It's now my third round, 2:30 a.m. I am doing my round. All the doors are locked. I need to take a piss. While walking the third floor, I am almost done at this point. I decide to use the restroom. I am checking doorknobs as I go. Office, locked. Office, locked. Women's restroom, locked. Utility closet, locked. Men's restroom. Pull my keyring out and unlock it. I go inside, take a leak, wash my hands, and look at myself in the mirror. I remember smelling something odd, like sulfur, but I figure I'm in a men's shitter, so who cares? I head back outside. As soon as I open the door, I notice shit all over the floor. Mops, brooms, cleaning supplies, buckets, etc. The door to the utility closet, the one I checked 3 times and just checked just a minute ago, is wide open. It's empty, totally empty. Everything that was inside of it is all over the floor now. All the debris was still moving slightly, as if it had just finally hit the ground and come to a rest, buckets rolling a little bit, etc. I never heard a sound, and the building was quiet as hell at this point. I just stood there for a minute, trying to figure out what I was saying before I got the creeps and just got the hell out of there. I went right back to the guard station and just sat there till the end of my shift. I decided that there were 3 possibilities and none of them were good. 1. I am losing my mind. 2. Some sort of paranormal thing just happened and I am the only one in this haunted ass building. Number 3. Somebody was inside the utility closet. I locked it, but it's not like I checked inside before I did so. And since most buildings are designed not to allow you to trap people in, besides prisons I guess, doorknobs generally are unlockable from the inside. A person could have been in there and burst out and took off. This option was also strange, because they would have had to hear me check the door on what would be my last round, but instead of going my usual path, I deviated and took a piss, so what were they waiting for? Anyways, not as climactic as one might hope, but it is a full accounting of a strange experience that I've had. Nobody ever mentioned shit laying all over the 3rd floor the next day. I never brought it up. I am a mobile security guard. I have a couple stories. I received an alarm call about a late to close, which means a system which is supposed to be armed was not armed on time. It was around midnight. I was directed to a school which I did not know existed. I pull up and all the windows are boarded up and there is no one around at all. The place looked raggedy and old, like some shitty school from Detroit. We used a smartphone to Google Maps our way to alarm calls, and I thought it was just giving me the wrong place. It was a strange contrast to the nice neighborhood it was in, right across the street, which was all blacked out. Before going in, I wanted to check out the area and make sure it is clear. There was a backpack that was rifled through, on top of a dumpster. A boarded up door with graffiti, probably from a neighbor. The graffiti read like this: "I know you damn kids are still in there making noise. I will call the cops next time, etc., etc." The graffiti about there still being children inside was spooky. I was in the Halloween X mindset. It felt like an alternate reality, with everything being old and locked up. There was only one entrance that was open. Going inside, shutting off the alarm, because they arm anyways. There was a radio playing somewhere. It was coming from a gymnasium, which was actually pretty small compared to other schools. The lights turned on when I walked in. The radio was playing Queen songs, pretty nice. The whole school was empty and dark, except for a few rooms which had lights on and janitor equipment. All the chairs and desks were all still there, usually stacked, but the computers were all still in place in the lab. It was like some places were prepared, and others just got up and left like that for years, who forgot to arm the system when they left. It's really lame, but going to unfamiliar places in the morning with no backup or weapon to an alarm should put you on edge a bit. My second, shorter, shittier story. I received an alarm call about a motion alarm going off in another school at night, closer to Halloween, I think. This one was active and had all sorts of nice decorations on the windows. The gates were closed, and I did not want to open it just to pull in the car, which would be pointless. I unlocked the main door, then shut off the alarm to have a look around. There was a cartoon ghost on the wall with a big message, "Who is hiding here?" It's intended to be festive and for children. To me, it read like a message left behind by some insane guy laying a trap or something. The lights are all off, the hallways are dark. I was given a room number and now had to find it. Suddenly, I heard a toilet flush down the hallway. Was it an intruder taking a shit? I decided to rush in and maybe literally catch someone with their pants down, or maybe scare a janitor, which would be pretty funny. There was nothing. We also have to sign in when we're inside a school, our names and what purpose. What was weird is my boss attended the same alarm on the same date, but technically yesterday due to working nights or something. The end. I don't know what set it off. I don't know why it went off 2 days in a row and my boss had to come down here. Maybe it was some hanging decorations moved by the AC in a classroom. The only other thing is going to a shutdown for the night work building at 4 a.m. and encountering a strange man at the end of a hallway, being out there with no defense, 40 minutes away from police and ambulance. It was just another worker starting his day early before anyone else. A place like that could be spooky. Basically 2 giant hangar bays, pitch black by yourself. I have a story involving a night guard. This happened to me around 3 years ago. I had to go back to the office late at night because I'm an idiot and screwed up some work orders for the next day, so I had to fix them. I am done with the orders. I am walking down the main corridor that goes to the employees' parking lot. I am walking to my car when I heard a humming sound. Then, a loud pop, like if a giant balloon just exploded. Then some seconds of nothing. What the hell? Out of nowhere, something like a foghorn but amplified by 1,000 goes off. I am so scared that I nearly pissed myself. I got inside the car. After 2 or 3 seconds, the sound stops. I am confused as hell. I saw a night guard running in my direction. He asked me what the hell that was and if I'm okay. I'm like, yeah, thanks, but I don't know what that was. Nothing like that has happened to me before. He asked me if I can drive and stuff like that. I tell him I'm okay. I noped out of there. To this day, I still don't know what happened, but someone told me that it might be related to some atmospheric anomalies or something like that. Something like the one that causes the trumpets in the sky. This one happened not long ago. I am broke, so I am living with my parents. I have night terrors, sleep paralysis, and generally just bad sleep, which is inherited from my dad. I am having a dream one night. Everything is dark. I can just barely see a door in the blackness. I approach the door and feel it with my hand in the dark. I locate the handle. It is lightly moving up and down, as if someone on the other side was playing with it. I carefully try to see if the door is unlocked. The handle suddenly fully lowers and the door abruptly opens. In a flash, some unseen person or entity encroaches on me and stabs me in the ribcage. I feel this immense dread and pain. I wake up sweating with my heart pounding. It's just a dream, I think, so I calm down in a few minutes and go back to sleep again. I don't think about it for some days. A week passes and I'm having lunch with my mom. She has a TV on in the background. There is the news playing. It's talking about some home invasion. My mom cheerfully says that reminds her of something. She asks me if I heard my dad make noises the other night. I say no. Apparently, he woke up from a nightmare while repeatedly screaming something. She says he probably thought that there was someone in the house. She laughs, finding it a little bit silly. I ask how long ago it happened. She said it happened about a week ago, the same night as my dream happened. I asked her what he was saying exactly. I was really curious at this point. She says that she doesn't really remember. She thinks it was something like, "Don't open the door, don't open the door." My face went. I have noticed certain patterns with my dad's night terrors and my own, as if they came in waves for both of us at the same time, and had like certain patterns to them, and kind of followed the same theme, sometimes outright being similar. None of them were ever as obvious as this one though. Not an extremely scary story for this board, but it sent shivers down my spine when my mom sat me down and told me all about this. I never asked my father about it though. I think I probably should at some point.